I'm just wondering how much success you've had with the stimulus package. I mean, what kind of impact have you seen?
We are quite happy with the progress that we have made so far. As to the trajectory for the next 6 to 12 months will depend on three sets of factors, two of which are within our control, and one of which depends on the external factor. So let me briefly share some of these factors. I think for the domestic economy, the domestic consumption, all those are recovering progressively, and we are making good progress after the circuit breaker. And we are confident that in the third and fourth quarter, we will see a gradual recovery, barring any unforeseen circumstances or outbreak again. So that is entirely within our control for us to resume work safely and sustainably. The second set of factors has to do with external demand, and that is a bit harder for us to control. That very much depends on the global situation and how the major economies control the infection within their country, and if there are further disruption to the global supply chains. The third set of factors is pretty much also within our control, and that is how we use the fiscal resources that we have to help our companies preserve their capabilities while consolidating their capacities for those companies that will see their demand resume. On the other hand, we are also using the fiscal resources to help our companies and workers pivot to new markets and new products for those that have been permanently changed by the COVID-19 situation. So we are quietly confident that we will get through this and we will take the necessary steps to make sure that we prepare ourselves for the new environment, not waiting for the COVID-19 to blow over.
So, Minister, you've been quite encouraged by the impact of the stimulus. I'm just wondering, is there reason to think that Singapore could need further stimulus after the fourth one that was announced?
I won't use the word stimulus. If you recall, I said that there were three sets of factors that were within our control. The first set of factors is not really about stimulus, it's about resuming work safely and sustainably. The second has to do with external demand, and that we can't replace external demand with domestic stimulus. But the third set of factors is how we use our fiscal resources to help our companies affected by the COVID pandemic to pivot to new markets and new products. And that is where most of the work will focus on. The faster we are able to pivot to new markets, the faster we get out of the sectors that have been permanently changed, the better will be our prospect to seize the opportunities in the new market.
You talk about helping companies. Among the companies that really need help at Singapore Airlines, is the government considering further aid for the national carrier?
At this point in time, I think Singapore Airlines and its board and its parent company are doing well in managing the situation, and we will work closely with them to see what is necessary. It's not just about Singapore Airlines that we are talking about. It is about the whole issue of Singapore as a financial and aviation hub. And we will do all that is necessary to make sure that we strengthen our position as a global aviation and financial hub. And this is why over the last few weeks, you will hear many initiatives of how we are going to progressively reopen our links with the rest of the world and continue to allow transit passengers to come through Singapore, because that is critical to Singapore's position as a global aviation hub. And we're going to do this in a manner that is safe
Minister,
and sustainable.
Minister, just this week as well, Singapore raised the minimum wage for the employment pass as well as S-Pass holders in the Lion City. I'm just wondering, how much will it add to costs for companies operating out of the Lion City?
It will add to the cost of some companies, but by and large, we should see this in context. We are making a move towards quality rather than quantity. And this is what we have done progressively over the years. So as and when the economic conditions require, we will progressively adjust the qualifying salaries for foreign employees coming into Singapore. And I don't think that this will affect our status as a financial hub or as a global business hub. And the reason is this, because as the economy transforms, we will increasingly move towards the higher skill sectors. And the recent adjustments that was announced yesterday will not impact our openness to talent from around the world. And we really want to create more space for the people at the very top. But those jobs that can be done by Singaporeans, I think we will not require that many foreigners within the country.
But yet there are still concerns among companies that perhaps Singapore will give priority to the locals, given that the recession is taking away jobs. I mean, what message are you sending to foreign companies, to foreign workers, all the expat workers who currently feel the pressure that they could possibly be losing their jobs?
Our message to the world is very simple. Singapore will remain open and connected with the world. We will continue to welcome foreign complement to our local workforce, especially they are of the higher quality ones.
Minister, I just want to touch on the virus cases in the Lion City. I mean, in terms of putting a lid and maintaining the success you've seen in the dormitories, how confident are you that the measures implemented right now are sufficient to ensure that there is no resurgence in cases in the dormitories?
We are not complacent. We are very aware of the resurgence of cases in many other cities and countries. And that's why we are making sure that everything that we do can be done in a safe and sustainable manner. The last thing we want to do is to see a start-stop situation whereby cases recur and then we have to shut down parts of the economy. What we have done is to make sure that we do this progressively. We have put in place a rigorous contact tracing system so that in case there is a case appearing in any one particular spot or a particular sector, we can isolate the cases in that sector and without affecting the rest of the economy. So that is critical to how we can restart our economy in a safe and sustainable way. We are doing a lot to make sure that we test all the cases that are not even symptomatic. So we will progressively comb through the population. We will progressively make sure that there are regular testing for the foreign workers to ensure that we were able to detect the cases very early before it starts to spread.